Hey guys, it's Bailey from Making Up the Midwest, and this is going to be a quick review of IT Cosmetics' It's All About You collection. This is a 5-piece set from the brand that is available on QVC for $72.50, and they actually sent this to me because in 2 days as I film this, but June 21st no matter what, this is going to be today's special value and available for $59 and some change, so pretty much 60 bucks. So I wanted to let you know what comes inside, how I used it, what the end results are, and give you my thoughts on all of them. So if you want to see that, please continue watching. The first product I want to talk about is one that I've used before. In fact, it has already earned Holy Grail status for me. It is the IT Cosmetics Celebration Foundation. I already have a full review of this that I will link to down below because I'm just going to give a detailed but brief gloss over of why I love this so much. This is in the shade Light Medium. It's one that I have used for well over a year now because the shade that came in this kit is a little too dark for me, so as a reference, I'm Light Medium. You can see there's some texture inconsistencies in here because you can use it both wet and dry. Wet, you get a little more coverage than you would dry, but the reason this has earned Holy Grail status in my powder foundation category is because as someone with combination skin, I consistently have a problem where powder foundations will cling awkwardly to dry patches, which tends to be near my chin, and then they develop shine in the T-zone area, which no one wants that. This manages to lay smoothly and evenly all over my face regardless of the skin issues I may or may not be having that day, and it wears beautifully throughout the day. It does tend to develop a little bit of excess shine as I personally get oilier in my T-zone, and it does oxidize a little bit, which is something you want to keep in mind as you are picking your shade here. IT Cosmetics has a powder foundation that has a little bit of a shimmer or shine to it to brighten the skin, and that's not this one. This has more of a satin finish. It's not completely matte. It just has an effect where it will kind of soften fine lines and give the skin more of a soft focused effect. And in terms of coverage, I would say that while it's not super ultra full coverage, it manages to provide a lot of coverage. Like, it evens out skin pretty completely without looking too or unnatural at all. Next up is the concealer. This is the Bye Bye Under Eye Full Coverage Anti-Aging Concealer in the waterproof formula. I have and absolutely love the original formula, and really this is kind of a super heavy duty and hydrating concealer. You put it under your eyes. You could use it as an all over foundation as well, and it's just provides a lot of coverage without drying your eyes out, without getting creasy and cakey. It's very hydrating, great for mature skin. The difference between the two is that the waterproof formula is supposed to provide, I think they say, up to 12 hours of wear. Ultimately, the main difference that I found between the two is that the waterproof formula is a little more emollient. Some people, when I was talking about this nonstop, about how much I loved it, were saying that they were encountering a little bit of thickness. It was hard to blend in. You really had to work it in between fingers to warm it up so that it blended nice and evenly wherever you wanted to apply it. And this is just a little bit smoother, a little more creamy, so you have to work with it a little less. So those of you that had that problem with the original formula might really like this for that. In terms of lasting power, I really didn't notice a huge difference between the two. I have to set both because they are so moisturizing that on my skin, my combination skin, they tend to remain a little dewy. I have to set them no matter what, and so they have pretty great lasting power either way. Next up is the brush. This is very similar to another dual-ended Heavenly Luxe brush that they had in a separate set. For all practical purposes, they are the same. On one end, you have a buffing brush that I personally love to apply and buff out the Celebration Foundation. And on the other end, you have what is a more precise, fluffy, rounded brush. This I love for applying the Bye Bye Under Eye Concealer. It's great at getting a solid coverage, but at the same time, because the bristles are so dense, at the same time, they're fluffy enough that you can really buff it out so you get good coverage, but it's well blended into everything else. Likewise, I also love using this brush to either go back into the Celebration Foundation or into another product that I'm going to show you later in the video to go and set in any other liquids that I may have used around my face. In general though, I've had nothing but good things to say about the IT Cosmetics brush line. They are so well made, they feel unbelievable against the skin, and they really are experts at blending in product. So this fantastic for foundation and concealer, both powder and liquid products. On to the brows. This is the Brow Power Universal Brow Pencil, and a lot of you may know I am no stranger to IT Cosmetics brow products. I have used and have recommended two from the other two, actually. I think there's the only other two brow products they make. The Brow Power Waterproof Perfector and the Your Brows But Better, both of which I use in my everyday brow routine. Not, however, in this video. I am wearing the one that comes in this kit. And in this brow product, the Universal Brow Pencil, you receive a spoolie on one end. I think she does this with all of her brow products, which I personally love because it's one less tool you have to take on the go. And on the other end, you actually have the product. This is a cool toned taupe that is the actual pencil itself is a rectangular shape, so you can flip it on one side and use it to kind of fill in your brows. It applies more broadly. Or you can flip it alternatively and use it so you get a more narrow application to create actual hair-like drawings, structures. You can draw something that looks more like a natural hair. Now, in the spectrum of brow products, I would say it feels a little bit heavier than Your Brows But Better. The texture is a little bit thicker, but it's not quite as thick and creamy as the Brow Power Waterproof Perfector. Yet, it still has a similar kind of waxy consistency, so it's going to hold your brows in place to some extent. The only downside with this is that unlike at least the Waterproof Perfector, this is universal because it only comes in one shade. While that's not really going to affect anyone in the brunette spectrum because you can vary how deep it appears. If you apply it softer, it's lighter. If you apply it harder, it goes deeper. Those who are blonde or have any red in their hair might find this to be a little ashy, a little dark. So even though it says universal, it is not so much. If you fall outside of the typical brunette spectrum, you might have some issues with this pencil. Regardless, the pencil itself is great. It lasts all day in the brows. It's good for doing anything from filling in sparse areas to creating single brows wherever you may need them. And onto the last product, and probably the one that I was most excited about when I opened this kit up. It's the CC Plus Radiance Palette, a product that is completely new to the IT Cosmetics line, and really it's more like 3 products in one because, as you can see inside, it has 3 face products. This is the color correcting overall setting powder, what I mentioned earlier when I said you can use this, dab it in to set your concealer, or use the broad end to set and brighten all over your face. Then you get a matte peach blush and a matte bronzer or contour, and I'm so glad that these are matte because it's just more universally flattering. Not everyone likes a good shimmery blush, and given that they're matte, it was nice that they weren't chalky or dry in the least. They applied nice and smoothly. They really smoothed out the texture of my skin and just wore beautifully throughout the day. Overall, this has to be my favorite set that I've ever tried from IT Cosmetics. I think that when you put the products all together, they create a truly flawless looking face that is full enough coverage, but yet still looks very, very natural for the daytime. Even for the nighttime, these blushes are so pigmented, you could build them up so you really have a dramatic contour and a dramatic blush. While the Universal Brow Pencil is a fantastic product and definitely adds a lot to this set in terms of creating structure for your overall face, it is definitely not my favorite product in this set because it does kind of limit the products that some people will be able to use. If they have any red to their hair or red hair period, if they have blonde hair, this just isn't as universal as maybe another product, another brow pencil even, could have been. Still, purchased individually, all of these would cost about $170, so at the regular price of $72, it's an amazing steal. At the today's special value price of $60, it's unbelievable. So if these products appeal to you, I highly recommend you get them. There are definitely some of my longtime favorites in here, and there are definitely some new favorites like this CC Plus Radiance Palette. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope this video helped you out. You learned a little bit more about all the products in this set. Please don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!